SoFi stock is down 71% in 2022. Is it a buy for 2023? I'm going to answer that question in this video, so stay tuned till the end. The first metric I'm going to look at to determine if SoFi stock is a buy is its revenue growth. And as we see here, the company has robust revenue growth, 56% in its most recent quarter. But on top of that, the company has been adding a lot of new customers to its SoFi Bank online banking services. The company just recently acquired a bank charter, and it has an industry leading savings percentage rate. So if you deposit money in the savings account at SoFi, it's one of the leading savings rates in the industry today. And given that savings rates are higher than usual as interest rates have risen, that's been a tailwind for SoFi stock. I don't know if that's going to persist longer term, but certainly over the next few quarters, the Fed has indicated it's going to continue raising interest rates. So this is going to be a catalyst bringing on more and more customers to SoFi Bank. The next thing I want to look at is SoFi's assets. Total assets on a quarterly basis have been rising. The company now has 15.8 billion total assets and 10.3 billion in total liabilities. Of course, gaining the bank charter has helped it add assets on it, add cheap capital to its banks. As customers deposit money, the company can use that money for lending and other services. And lending money from customer deposits is the cheapest source of capital for companies like SoFi that like to engage in lending services. And the next thing I want to look at is its earnings per share quarterly, going back as long as I have data for, which is until the July quarter of 2020. And we see consistently negative earnings per share. And that's a little bit troubling, especially considering how quickly revenue has been growing, that they haven't been able to turn the corner and reach profitability. This is something I'm going to be watching over the next few quarters to see if it can turn the corner on profitability, but it hasn't been able to do so just yet. Of course, it is in hyper growth mode, and many of the companies that are growing this fast are not profitable. So it's not that SoFi stock is unique in this nature, but it would have been nice as an investor. It would have been very, very encouraging to see the company's earnings per share positive and rising. And finally, I will look at its price to sales ratio to consider its valuation. And SoFi stock is trading at a price to sales of 2.8, which is down significantly from a peak of over 8 late in 2021. It's trading at about the lowest valuation going back before 2021. So over the last year, it's at the cheapest valuation, relatively speaking. But a price to sales of 2.8 is not cheap on an absolute basis. And the company has no earnings, so I couldn't use price to earnings to evaluate the stock, which is another discouraging sign for investors. So is SoFi stock a buy for 2023? Now, before I answer that, I just want to highlight that it's not, when interest rates are rising and the economy is heading into a recession, it's not a good time to be a lender. This is when customers are losing their jobs and defaulting on their debt, defaulting on their loans, for one. And then for two, as interest rates are rising, demand for new loans is also falling because customers, if you're looking at a mortgage rate of 7% or a student loan interest rate of 8, 9, 10%, you're going to be less likely to want to borrow that loan, to want to take on that debt, compared to when interest rates were 2, 3, 4% just a little over a year ago. So that's going to be a headwind for SoFi stock in the near to mid term. So considering the headwinds, considering the losses on the bottom line, I'm going to say no. SoFi stock is not a buy for 2023. I would wait as an investor for these headwinds to run their course. Let's see how deep this recession gets. If there is a recession, let's see how consumers, yeah, are able to pay off their debts if there is a recession, if job losses increase, before I would consider buying SoFi stock. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.